good afternoon, and welcome to AMA Afternoon Market Action. My name is Ryan. Glenn is out today. He's got PTO for the rest of the week, just a heads up. And today we're actually simulcasting both live from our YouTube channel, but we are also in the VectorVest community room. So give everybody just a moment to make their way into the room here. Now, put in the comment section VV respectively if you can hear me, if you can see me, just because I know Joey's working in the background right now. It's a little bit different today since we are doing the dual stream on both platforms here. So we got everyone just a second here. The alert just hit. I see people making their way in. Excellent. People can hear me. People can see me. It's always good when, technology works, right? The big news, as we all know, there were some updates when it comes to the tariff talks coming out of London. So give everyone, everyone's still making their way into the room. And we see the markets, they're slightly in positive territory today. I think they're mixed right now. We'll take a look in just a second. But before I get started, I did want to make an announcement. Did want to say, thank you obviously for being here, pumped up for today's live stream. But before we jump into our weekly market breakdown, we've got an exciting update for the channel. First, just want to say a big thank you for your views, your comments, and engagement that make this community thrive. Now, we are committed to giving tons of free content on YouTube, but like our stock tips and investing basics. So we're always, of value to everyone. But we've been noticing our weekly live stream we've packed with real-time market analysis, stock breakdowns, and your awesome chat contributions. But keep our community engaged. Now, we want to put more emphasis on current VectorVest subscribers. Those who are currently on a subscription or trial subscription, for 30 days. So essentially starting June 25th, our weekly proprietary insights, our indicators, will be moving into the private chat room. So everything's going to be moving into the VectorVest community room. Coming June 25th, we will be dual streaming until then. Now, that being said, you can check out the link. It's just vectorvest.com/VIC for chat room details. But don't worry, we're still going to keep lots of free content on the YouTube channel. 6 p.m. videos, short content, live streams will still be available on the channel to help you on your investing journey. Now, this change just gives you options. You stick with the free videos or join the premium chat room for that extra edge. If you got any questions, just put them in the comment section. But again, this will take place in 3 weeks, June 25th. We will be dual streaming until then. All right, that being said, we got everything out of the way here. Let's go ahead and jump into the VectorVest 7 software. I do want to take a look at the markets and how the markets are responding to the tariff updates. Okay, because there's a delay. How long is the delay?
You just see it on YouTube, but if you look on community room, there's not.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Good to know. Well, that being said, look, the Dow Jones, that is the only index to remain in positive territory. They were all positive not too long ago. Market started out pretty enthusiastic, but you see a lot of those gains given up, especially in the later half of the trading sessions and around lunchtime. Now, the Nasdaq the Nasdaq in general down 0.5%. That is leading to the downside right now. The SP 500 down 0.3%. But look at the VectorVest composite. Barely changed here, just 0.1% to the downside. But that being said, 3 yellow lights across the board right now. We are going to advocate caution. We're going to take a moment, so not the best time to, be buying more stocks, obviously. And especially with the MTI. Now, if you're new to the channel, if you don't have, the VectorVest subscription, the MTI, it's a powerful indicator. It just gives you a sense of when the market might be getting a little top heavy and when downside risk starts to outpace upside potential. Gets up to around 1.5, 1.6 levels. We are at those levels now, right? So if you are talking about, taking profits off the table, if you're of that mindset, that's not a bad mindset to be in, right? Just let your stops do the work for you. And just to the adverse effect, when the market's looking for bottoms, usually around 0.6, and it's not, an exact measurement. to give you any kind of inclination of, kind of market weakness or market strength, depending on where the MTI is at, you want to look for the primary wave. That's our fastest moving market timing signal under this trend column, the first component here. It's still up right now, right? Troy says, I've tightened my stops. Yeah, tighten them a little bit. I wouldn't be too concerned right now just because the primary wave is still up, but just be careful of that. If we take a look at price action right now, 71.48. So if we compare it to 5 days ago, 70.8. So we're not that far away, right? Any severe, another down day or two, we could get there. But right now, primary wave is up. So there's, still looking optimistic, right? Now let's go ahead and jump in the news story, see what's moving the market today. This is the first thing to come out this morning. U.S. inflation rose by 0.1%, coming in at 2.4%. The last report was at 2.3. We were getting closer to the Fed's objective of 2%, but still not a bad rating, right? Now, excluding food and energy, core CPI came in at 0.1%, 2.8% respectively. That is excluding food and energy. Now, other than that, we do have big news coming out of Meta. You can see right here the headline of frustrated Zuckerberg, which everyone's in the race for AI, right? Meta, biggest stake, $14 billion stake in Scale AI. That's its biggest AI bet to date. So you can see some confidence there in the stock. Last time I looked, it was down. Let's see here. Yeah, still down just a little bit. So not everyone getting too enthused right now with the market, but I have a feeling it has to do with the overall market sentiment, not necessarily Meta. But you see right here, look, grown frustrated that rivals like OpenAI, again, OpenAI, that's a parent company of ChatGPT, appear to be further ahead than Meta. So they're putting a lot of money in here. So let's see here. Scale AI is hiring its co-founder, Alexander Wang, to help the social media company better execute on its AI ambitions. So you can see it's taking a major step to do so. Now, other than that, we all want to talk about it. It's China-U.S. relations, right? Some of the details coming out. You see the headline here, China, U.S. officials reach agreement for allowing rare earth tech trade. Now it's up to President Trump and Xi. But that being said, the deal's not done yet. It looks like the framework, there was a basis of the framework that's going to be utilized in the deal going forward. Bill says, as far as China deal goes, let's not forget that history does not always repeat, but oftentimes China hasn't lived up to their end of the bargain time and time again. And that might be the case. Obviously, the market, even though some positivity, as far as a framework being agreed upon, it really just isn't, there was a little bit of optimism early in the market. That could have been caused by the CBI report as well. But that being said, the market's not too enthused right now. Not much follow through. It's actually, major indices are a little bit lower, giving up those morning gains. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But something and what I was getting to on this article, it all comes down to rare earth elements and our semiconductors. China's trying to get the high-end semiconductors. We're trying to make sure our supply chain of rare earths is untouched. So those are the type of stocks I have in the watch list today. Now the next one, I thought this was interesting, right? This is a card up our sleeve, and when I say up, obviously, America's sleeve. China's petrochemical reliance on the United States outweighs rare earth trades. So you see China imports substantial volumes of petrochemical feedstock from the U.S., far exceeding the value. So just to get down to the math here, China imported about 565,000 barrels per day. That's huge. Petrochemicals from the U.S., this comes from a value over $4.7 billion. Now, the value may be smaller on the rare earth elements or rare earth minerals, but that being said, only 170 million, but that could affect much larger aspects such as the semiconductor industry, defense industry, automotive industry. So they are more vital, but as far as dollar value, you can see, this is definitely a ace up, our sleeve essentially, right? Or a bargaining chip for the Trump administration going forward are going to be these petrochemicals. Now, other than that, and I know Glenn has done a lot of videos on BRICS nations, de-dollarization, and a lot of those videos, like I said, being focused on the BRICS nations. But this is interesting. Asia shift away from the U.S. dollar is picking up pace. There's something down here I wanted to show you. So you can see by 2024, the U.S. dollar comes in at 57% of reserve currencies. This is for the Asian nations. Where was it at here? It was like 70%. Oh, here it is. The dollar and global foreign exchange reserves declining from over 70% in 2000 to now just 57.8%. So you can see a lot of countries, again, a lot of, this puts optimism in the gold, in the realm of gold. We've seen gold stocks, a lot of demand by central banks around the world, helping push, gold prices even further, geopolitical concerns, all that good stuff. But I just thought this was a very interesting article that the Asian countries are picking up pace there. Here's another one. During the trade negotiations, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but the Chinese officially put 2 aircraft carriers in the Pacific. Active aircraft carriers is the first time that has occurred. And then here's another one that I thought was really good, and Oklo is making big moves today, and this has to do with the energy policy shift, for nuclear energy, right? I know there's been certain figures out there, with AI, the rise of AI demand. We've all heard about, the SMRs, small module reactors. Sorry about that. But defense plays and energy plays, kind of like AI and energy. Now I see the connection there between defense, with rising defense, the more need for defense technology is going to require more energy in general. Now, Oklo is up big today, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment because they just secured a contract with the Air Force, I believe, in Alaska. But this was one that I thought was very interesting here. You got BWX Technology. This is the U.S. Navy's main nuclear reactor supplier. So if BWXT is not on your radar, if you're interested in defense, if you're interested in energy, definitely check this one out here, BWXT. Bill says, sell the news event possibly. Yes, that could definitely be a possibility, Bill. Jazz double bagger now. Yes, a lot of big momentum with these stocks here. So let's go right into the VectorVest software. Take a look at these positions here, and we'll get in just a second. Let's see here. Viewers, I got some watch lists for you. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Since we're doing the simulcast and Glenn's not here, I figured, let's try some new things. So you'll see these watch lists over here first. These are the news-driven ones that Glenn and I typically do. These are the stocks that I have here. I've got the value. This is a throwback that I typically do when Glenn is not here. I go through the Q's watch list and find the most undervalued stocks, so we'll analyze those. But the rest of these, I'm going to get your picks. And for each one of these categories, I'm going to take the first top 5 picks. So we'll get through it. Don't put in the comment section quite yet. So let's take a look here. We got news. As that's coming up here, like I said, with the China, U.S. Tariff, trade negotiations, whatever you want to call it here, NVIDIA, TSM, AMD, all caught in the crosshairs of that, right? I got UAMY, USAR. I just want to see how these stocks are responding, right? USAR, down 8%, UAMY. I'm kind of surprised, UAMY did start negative earlier. I'm surprised it's not still in negative territory. I thought these stocks would probably take a hit if there's a deal to be met with China, because again, if there's not a deal, a lot of that pressure is going to be put on these two companies along with some other ones. Sherilyn says, what does AMA mean? Afternoon market action. And essentially, this is a show typically we do on YouTube. So I know if you're just joining right now, we're actually dual streaming this for the next few weeks. And on Wednesday, June 25th, it'll solely be in the VectorVest Investor Community Room. So just a heads up there if you just tuned in or you tuned in late. But that being said, we got defense here, right? Obviously, tensions around the world. It's up again today. This is triple leverage. Glenn has been a huge component of defense stocks. He's done a lot of videos for them on the YouTube channel. A lot of those picks, big. This is what I was talking about, Oklo. This is the small module reactor, uranium nuclear play, essentially. up 26% based on news of a contract that they got with the U.S. Air Force in Alaska. Now, BWXT, this is again energy company that has ties to the Navy. This is the largest, according to that article, was the largest supplier of nuclear reactors to the Navy. So a lot of big companies here. And if we take a look, most of these are in positive territory. The chip companies, not in positive territory, right? Rare earths, U.S. rare earths, negative. And I'm not too surprised by this because in that framework, there's still hesitation on giving certain chips to China, which what we remember, is billions of dollars in lost revenue for both NVIDIA and AMD. So that's something investors, considering there. Slightly down today, nothing too crazy. But USAR taking the big hit, down 8% today. So just keep that in mind. Now, as far as these companies, towards the bottom of the list here, it gets a little shady on the fundamentals. But yeah, right around the ETF, you can see above, strong fundamentals, RVRS. Below here is going to be a little bit more of your speculative plays in nature. And look at this one. It's RV, 0.01. So again, this is a news story, up 26%. The stock is trading at $66. We value the company at $2.69. That's not a price target. Just say what, intrinsically what VectorVest feels the stock is worth. But honestly, just look at this fundamental analysis and the momentum today. Treat it like a momentum play, right? I wouldn't be a buy and holder, diamond hands at $66 jumping in this today. That is a recipe for a disaster. The safety, I'm surprised safety is not a little bit lower, but again, not favorable here for Oklo, the big mover. All these stocks are currently in an uptrend, right? The RT speaks to the magnitude of that trend. So you can see something like Oklo at 1.93. Again, that's on a 0 to 2 scale. So that trend essentially, can become unsustainable, right? Very volatile in nature. Now, as we look over at the forecasted data, see what kind of fish we can find here. I like the sales growth rate, U.S. antimony. I like the growth rate in earnings, U.S. antimony. I've said it before, if I'm going to pick the two, it's going to be U.S. antimony. USAR, it's not bad by any means. It's just way overvalued. You can see you're getting a lot more value at this one. Better fundamental analysis. So if you are going to play the rare earth space, that would be my pick. Obviously look at the chart though, because that could, depending on what you're trying to do, whether it's a swing trade or momentum trade, playing a bounce or a crossover or something. But just keep that in mind. For a longer term position, I would be of the mindset of UAMY. All right. So before I get to the other ones, I do have this one. This is something I do typically when I'm doing a live stream without Glenn. I go through the Nasdaq 100 watch list within the VectorVest 7 software, all 100 positions. And I'll use this here, value divided by price. This gives me a sense if the company's overvalued or undervalued, right? I put them all in order. These are the most undervalued stocks in the Nasdaq 100. We got Micron, right? Buy rating. SMCI, buy rating. Alphabet, Google, buy rating. Lululemon. Lululemon's got a sell rating. Obviously, we've looked at that one here. So if you're looking at some bottom fishing opportunities, and if we take a look at, you can see Lulu and Kraft Heinz, nothing too crazy there, but I do like these double digits for these three. Obviously, SMCI, going to be a little bit more volatile in nature here. But still, some good picks, to put on your radar. We got Micron. Actually, let's take a look at these graphs here. Oh, yeah, look at Micron. Nice, steady, stair-step fashion. Lower left, upper right. 3-month chart. Very pretty here. Just surpassed the prior swing high. I do like that. RT, relative timing. If we take a look, again, RT looks when the price trend is, looking at a shift, right? Because think about it, it's an oscillation. So looking at RT for these crossovers for early entry points, never a bad idea. You can see it gapped up right after that crossover here. I mean, price action, the close came in around $85 when RT became favorable. Now it's trading at $115. You got rising earnings per share, rising growth rate over the last several months here. Micron, I like. I can't be mad at it at all. And let's just put on our valuation here. Look, value on the rise, price action on the rise. That's That's not exactly, that is my favorite chart pattern. I've said it on a lot of live streams. If you see value on the rise, price action on the rise, undervalued, that is an ideal situation to be in. Now here's SMCI. You see value on the decline, right? Price action stagnant. I'm just not here for it. I know we all thought we're getting a good deal, and if you're swing trading it, still probably is. I mean, if you got in the $30 range, especially low 30s, and you're in SMCI, probably not a big concern at all by any means. But look at earnings per share, something just to consider here. It has been dropping. Growth rate earnings been dropping, right? The initial drop was obviously the short article and the accounting irregularities, but the stock just really hasn't recovered or been the same since. So, just keep that in mind. Now, here we got Google. Google I like. Look at this. Value, more recently, value starting to rise again. You see it was kind of stagnant to the downside a little bit. But since, let's see here, about mid-April here, you're starting to see the value on the rise. Price action looking for a bottom. You see I've got all kinds of little lines here. That's about where I was looking for a level support. RT relative timing finally becoming favorable, showing you, hey, this might be a stock to look at finally, because that price trend is starting to turn around, getting confirmation there with the RT relative timing. Price action then was 166 right now, just a little bit above it. Around, I think that says 178. Yep, so it is still in positive. Earnings per share on the rise. The growth rate in earnings faltered, but it just went from 20 to 19%. So obviously that doesn't look great, but it doesn't look necessarily bad either. It's just 1% to the downside. And let's look at the bigger picture here over a year. Yeah, still 20, so not a big decline in that growth rate. Here's Lululemon, that big gap down. Lululemon, I can't get into it. If you are bottom fishing in this stock, I'd put a low probably right about in here, about 240. Right on the bottom of this wick here, if I zoom into a 6-month time span. We're getting close to approaching a new low, another gap down. This is not good. And value on the decline. Price action on the decline, right? So it's not what I want to see. Even though it looks attractive from a valuation standpoint, give it some time. I'm not in a rush to jump in this. I want to see a little bit more confirmation. If I do get confirmation, a little bit momentum to the upside, we got a gap to fill, because that would be your first target. Then you see I got a zone in here. That's going to be the first level of resistance to really test price action for the bulls. Kraft Heinz, slow grind to the downside. I can't. It's hard to say no just because look at the valuation jumping up, but then it's curling back around. No. Earnings per share on the decline. Growth rate earnings faltering over the last month or two. No, I can't get excited about those, but I do like Micron. Of those, I like Micron. I like Google. Anyone like UNH? I can't get behind UNH. I have to look at the chart, but that is a good one we could take a look at. All right, so the first thing I'm going to take a look at here, we're going to take a look at AI picks. So whether you're in the community room or on YouTube, put in the comment section your favorite AI pick. The first 5 that come across, they're going in here, and we're going to take a look at them. So give you just a moment to do that here. We got NVIDIA. And actually, I'm going to leave NVIDIA out because I've got a semi section here. We've got semiconductors. Palantir, good one. That's the energy. Nope, we're going AI. BSX. Okay. BBAI. SMCI, no, we're going to wait for semis. We'll get there in just a moment. BBAI, VRT. We'll take that as a holding company. IO&Q, that would be, Quantum. Anybody else got an AI stock? Alar, okay. Let's try Alar. Interesting. All right, so we're going to do these. So now that you're familiar with it, next category we're going to do is defense, then we're going to do gold, and then we're going to do semiconductors, and then I'm going to do a general pick. So that way you can do anyone, right? So this way, because a lot of times it's usually the same stocks that come up every now and then. But I know these are hot spaces in the market right now, so I just want to see. But look, I mean, AI picks, all positive territory. That's the first thing that I like here. You know, these are tech companies. All sharing. 3 out of the 5 have buy ratings. And this is, you know, that's why I like the VectorVest 7 system, because if you don't know much about the stock market, if you haven't been following AI companies or know much about valuation, you can see here that a lot of these companies, actually all of them, overvalued, right? Not saying that they're bad, and that not necessarily a good thing, but just saying, hey, investors are willing to pay a premium, you know, to hold a company that has the technology of the future, right? That's what it comes down to, like quantum. You know, I'd put that in the same category almost as some of these companies here. But look, Big Bear AI, for example, trading at $3.80, we only value at 59 cents. If we take a look at the fundamentals here, you're not going to get a whole lot of prudent and conservative stock picks here. Actually, there's one conservative, because you got an RV above 1 with an RS below 1. So you're willing to... oh, wait, no. I meant to say RS. This one here. You're willing to give up safety for long-term. You're willing to give long-term. So this is going to be your aggressive one here. Vertiv. See here. This one looks good. This one's good in both categories. BSX. Let's take a look at this one here. All right. Oh, I forgot that. We'll go like this. We'll look at all of them. So I forgot we got the shift key. We got to fix this. Joey. Maximize. There we go. Okay. Look at Palantir here. Nice lower left to upper right. Hitting a new high as of today. Let's go to 6 month here. Software security firm. I do like this. Let's go 3 months. Look at this consolidation. Tight trading range here if I just use a horizontal line. I mean, you can see the channel. The channel is clear as day. Just broke above it. Giving resistance. I don't like the upper wick. Tried to break out, but keep Palantir on your radar. We might be getting a breakout here. Not getting it quite yet, but I do like that optimism to the upside. And just looking at fundamental analysis, I mean, the stock is overvalued. A lot of the stocks in this space are. Now, if we look at earnings per share, forecasted EPS, and along with forecasted growth rate in earnings, interesting. Also on the rise here at 25%. Earnings per share on the rise. I mean, Palantir looks good. Obviously, the valuation, not the best situation. But other than that, I mean, the company looks really good just, you know, from a basic lower left, upper right, rising earnings, rising growth rate in earnings. I like what I see here. Here we've got Vertiv Holdings. I do have a level resistance here around 119 to about 109. You see we're caught right in that level here. So if you're looking for the confirmation, get out of this zone here. But otherwise, if we do get rejection and much more of a break, take note of that. You know, maybe heed that warning. But our stop price right now comes in at $94. Valuation, I do like, is rising. You see the stock was undervalued. Investors felt they were getting a great deal, so it's off to the races since then, diverging away from valuation. But the value is rising steadily over the last few months. I do like that as well. Ryan Vertiv is data center cooling. Okay. I know they do quite a few things, and they have a lot of exposure to semiconductors as well. But interesting. Here we got software security company. You can see the gap up here. Again, a lot of consolidation, pretty range bound over the last few trading months. Nice big gap up. It looks like we had some follow through yesterday, but not so much. Upper wick yesterday, big wick to the upside today. Take note of that. If you got in down here, I wouldn't be too concerned at this time. And a really good graph layout for situations like these. Check out Star Search. Look at that. You see Star Search in the fast lane, but what is it doing? It's retracing from this standard deviation of 3 Bollinger Band, right? It's just a little overextended, so just be careful of that. Here's BSX, Boston Scientific Corp. It hasn't done much over the last 3 months at all. Let's just go to 6 months here. Barely anything over 6 months. If I go to a year chart, okay. And let's switch this. We're going to do the VectorVest simple layout here. You can see RT relative timing. You know, I've got a zone here on Boston, but looking at it here, RT just became unfavorable, giving us a warning here several days ago, actually. RT came in at 1.01, so it was about it was the 9th of June, so what is that, 2 trading sessions ago? RT just went below 1, so be careful there if you're holding Boston. Here's Big Bear AI. I do have a zone here, a resistance zone. Let's go to 3 months here. Yeah, I still got to get above it. And I've had these 2 lines on here quite a while, even before this touch here, but rejection at that touch, you know, was this about 512? Yeah, I'd want to see it in $5 range just to get confirmation to the upside. But right now, we're just seeing a lot of, you know, consolidation to the side. The short-term price trend is in the favor of the bulls right now. So even if it, you know, that momentum waning a little bit, you can see the RT relative timing starting to pull back over the last, you know, 2 to 3 weeks here. And look, earnings per share on the decline. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we all know this is a risky bet. If you're looking for some confirmation to the upside for a strong breakout to the upside, I'd look, you know, right around the $5. I think I have, what, 512 here, so just keep that in mind. And if you are holding it, you know, any much more of a rejection here, just be careful. Because just remember, this stock not that long ago was, you know, the low was at 243. So, you know, if you're not comfortable with a volatile position or, you know, a speculative position, just be careful. You can even use, you know, probably like a 20-day EMA just to make sure we're still capturing this momentum over the last, you know, about 2-3 months here. All right. So that's that one. Next one, we're going to do defense. Let's jump into it. I want to see some defense stocks appear in the comment section here. Let's see what you got. All right, we got Axon. Axon isn't defense, is it? Boeing, yeah, I do want to take a look at Boeing here. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, I didn't think Axon was. All right, Axon's going. Let me scroll back up to R. Yep, that's a good one. We'll use that. RNMBY. Oh, okay. So they do law enforcement. All right, we'll try it. Axon. And they have governments with U.S. contract. All right, so here's some stocks here. These are in the defense space. You can see aerospace defense. Let's see here. Scroll over to the left. A lot of these in positive territory. Boeing, still down. TAT. Let's go ahead and go into the graphs here. All right, price action on the rise, earnings per share on the rise, RT relative timing, favorable territory still, I mean, strong rating there, 1.65. Our stop price at 650, I actually like that. There's a nice little trail on it here. You see the buy recommendations from the software, the VectorVest 7 software here, coming in as early as April 25th. I mean, the stock was only trading at 603, now 776. RT relative timing going to positive territory right around that time as well. So again, around April 25th, the software showing some optimism for this position. You can see the bulls loving that optimism here, taking that price action to a high. What's the high? Comes in at 806.64. Yeah, definitely clear. If you're looking for confirmation, take that high out. Otherwise, if you are looking for a level support here, probably about right in here. Somewhere in the zone here, you can see buying pressure the last two trading sessions right at the top of the zone. So I would keep this one on your radar. I like the price action and the momentum is to the upside. DFIN, again, I mean, just keep drawing this trend line up. I mean, this is a perfect place. If you feel like you are late to the party on DFIN, again, retesting the trend line here. So if you want to wait for confirmation tomorrow and, you know, see if the momentum still continues, hey, not a bad idea with only an hour and a half left in the trading session. Otherwise, if you're a little bit more aggressive, I do like that bottom wick here right at this trend line. And looking at RT relative timing at 1.86, I mean, RT relative timing, you know, really becoming favorable. We see a little wobbly here in the month of April, but this last time, around April 23rd here, sustaining in positive territory, letting you know the bulls have control. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, obviously, if you're in it, I wouldn't be too concerned. If I didn't see the bottom wick there, I'd be much more concerned today, but we see buyers coming in to the rescue almost right away, you know, breaking that trend line here. But now price action staying right at it. So let's just make sure price action stays above this trend line. But if it loses its ground and ends up below this trend line, depending where you bought it, you know, protecting profits, never a bad idea. Here is Rhine Metal. Nice lower left, upper right. The only thing that concerns me here, earnings per share faltering quite a bit over the last 3 months. And we even seeing relative timing. I mean, this high here came around 1.78, 1.79. So it got in the 1.84. That's a lot of momentum for the bulls here. And you can see that shown in price action. But looking at the rollover, just be careful there. Any kind of confirmation to the upside is going to be taking out this prior high just a few trading sessions ago. Now here's Shield. This is a global X defense tech company. Lower left, upper right. Stop in place. Buy rating, strong across the board. A little bit of hold here. But RT relative timing, even with the pullback, remained in positive territory, 1.01. So the momentum for the bulls and the short-term price trend has been favorable here, according to RT relative timing, for at least the last 3 months. Let's zoom back out a little bit more. Still, look at that nice lower left. This is a beautiful ETF here. Lower left, upper right. Keep Shield on your radar. This is a good one. Next, we got TAT. This is an aerospace and defense company. You see quite a bit of pressure here. Let's go zoom into 6 months, see what we got. Let's add our support. All right, level support around 24.27. Yeah, I definitely would agree if price action, you know, entered that zone that we see there, and especially broke that 24.27. You know, hey, not every trade works, right? So if this is something you've been bottom fishing in, if you've already purchased, you can see price action over the last 6 months. Not too optimistic there. RT relative timing below 1. Bearish inclination. So I can't get too bullish on this position, especially with sell ratings continuing to flash over the last few trading sessions here. As far as forecasted data, earnings per share is on the rise. Let's go to years, just curious. Okay. A lot of consolidation since it's run up. I do like that rise in earnings. You know, it's aggressive bottom fishing play. Still a lot of momentum to the downside. At least, you know, I'd want at least RT or something. You know, I'd say RT, definitely. If RT, I'd put this on your radar. If RT get back above 1, hey, this might be a good bottom fishing opportunity. As well, if it does trend up a little bit, gets RT in positive territory, you got a gap fill here, potential price target. Otherwise, you got the high here, the 1 year high, coming in at 36.49. Here's Boeing. Let's take a look at Boeing here, 6 months. Boeing's been on a tear. You know, we were making fun of it all last year and into the holidays, right? And you can see exactly why. Price action just not good at all for the bulls. Let's look at valuation. The stock becoming way overvalued, even further from our metrics here. We got Boeing showing its earnings per share on the decline. See, its earnings per share is at $4. And this is, again, is forecasted. That's when the stock hit its high. It's with earnings per share on the decline. Now coming in negative 0.28. So the one thing I do like, looks like the earnings per share, that damage, looks like it's trying to find a bottom here. We see it starting to round a little bit. Obviously the bulls taking charge. Now if you missed this rally, and it does pull back, we see it is a down day today, maybe a retest. You know, if we get a nice retest here and bounce off, hey, look for the pivot back to the upside. Otherwise, if you are in this position, the stop price, the VectorVest 7 stop price is going to get you out a little bit sooner than where my zone is. But for something shorter term, I'd look for a pivot off of here, around 209. Might be a short-term pivot here. Because if we break this, we'll get a new low from the prior swing low. So just be careful there. But as far as Boeing, obviously a dangerous trade. Clearly, it still doesn't have the buy rating either. Maybe you could use something like Star Search, you know, as long as it stays in the Bollinger Band. If you're just treating it like a swing trade, that would probably be an appropriate graph layout to consider. All right, next up we got gold. This should be interesting. Let's put some gold stocks in the comment section. Both we got the community room and the YouTube channel. So the first 5 gold stocks that come across are the stocks that are going to be in this watch list. We're going to break them down and see if there's any opportunities in the charts here. We got AEM. If it's not a gold company, it's getting erased. AEM, AU, Harmony Gold. We got Orla, and ASM. All right. Just making sure, yep, all gold and mining here. All right. All right, so for these stocks, 5 of them have a buy rating. 3 out of the 5 are in positive territory. So gold stocks mixed today. But overall, I mean, look, fundamentally, this isn't the AI stocks, right? You got strong fundamentals with these companies. A lot more safety, a lot more long-term price appreciation potential. And all but one are still in an uptrend. So let's see if these stocks are still rocking and rolling. We all know gold's been hot this year. Let's see if that, I mean, that's going to be the question, right? Is gold still hot? So let's take a look. View stock graph. I don't like what I see there with Harmony Gold right out the gate. Channel a little bit to the downside. Earnings per share is on the right. Look, RT just went below 1 for the first trading session. I don't think it was there yesterday. Nope, went below 1. So heed warning to that, right? We're seeing hold recommendations pop more frequently. AEM, I still like this. I mean, look, lower left, upper right. Let's go to 6 month. Still looks pretty. We're going to have to retest this new high, obviously, at some point for the bulls. 126, if you're looking for confirmation, let's get above that 126 resistance zone. It's around 126.70. Here we've got ASM, again, rocking and rolling, These stocks are good. AU, rocking and rolling, RT above 1. One thing I don't like here, RT starting to roll over. Let's see what happens here. Our stop price coming in at $41. The stock trades at 45. 45.66. I like our stop price of 41 there. Orla Mining, several bad trading sessions in a row here. Big strong level of resistance, 1188. If I'm a buyer, I want to get above this resistance level. We've already got 1, 2, 3 rejections essentially. Could be a triple top as well, so keep that in mind if you're gold. EPS, earnings per share, on the rise. There's one thing I do want to do here. I want to go to the view industry graph. This is typically how I track gold and oil. So this takes all the mining stocks, not just year 5, but all of them. See what's going on. So this is a video I did on the YouTube channel. Some of y'all may remember this. We had a consolidation, little breakout, nice little short-term run, right? We broke it. Now it looks like we're retesting this high here, this prior swing highs. We broke it. Now we're in the retest. As far as this industry, we're not getting really, rejection or confirmation for the bulls. It's pretty stagnant right now. Let the trade come to you. No real reason to call it quits on gold quite yet. And a lot of that's probably going to be determined by the tariff concerns, things like that. That was one of the driving factors. Macro uncertainty. But right now, I'm cautious on gold, but the alarm bells aren't ringing. I still got this breakout to the upside, breakout new high. And right now I'm looking at the retest situation. So let's see how this plays out over the next few trading sessions. All right, next up, we did the value stocks. All right, we're going to do semis, and then we're going to go into your picks. And that is, the your picks will be based off of the YouTube channel. So let's see here. All right. We got semiconductors. Let's go ahead and put them in. We got NVIDIA first. One, why I'm not surprised, is always NVIDIA. SOXL, that is triple leverage of the the space in general, essentially. POWL, Powell Industries, SMCI, TSM. All right. And someone put AND, do you mean AMD? Powell. Electrical equipment. Just make sure that was in the same space. Okay, I thought that's what you meant, Ed. All right, let me put AMD in there. And I do want to talk about AMD. You notice my favorite one of my favorite stocks to track. But there's something interesting, and I didn't find it. It was an article I found. That pointed this out. But look, as far as semiconductors, pretty mixed. The space as a whole, you see SOXL, which is the long one, down today. SMCI, AMD down, NVIDIA down. TSM is in positive territory. If we look at the fundamentals of the space, favorable fundamentals, RT relative timing, nice strong trend to the upside there. Growth rates, sales growth rates, this I like. Double digits across the board here. I said Powell Industries got 9 there in one category. So let's graph these. Overall, these are strong stocks. We're familiar with a lot of these companies here. All right, there's NVIDIA. I've been watching the channel, been following this breakout of the descending channel, breakout of this resistance zone here. Again, I got a level here on 142. We're right at that level. So we haven't quite got rejection or confirmation at that level. We're pretty much stagnant right at it. You see level resistance here. Pretty range bound over the last few trading sessions. So let's see what plays of it. But look, things I do like, value on the rise, price action on the rise. Again, my favorite chart pattern. Earnings per share is on the rise. RT still in positive territory. So no real concern with NVIDIA, right? We all know it's the behemoth in the AI space. TSM, Taiwan Semi, value on the rise, price action on the rise, still above this trend line. So I've said it before, why overthink it? Look, one touch, almost a touch there, but the bulls came in. You can see it coming up here. Ideally, if we give this a few more trading sessions, we got another touch and this level support here. If we do get another retest on there, we've got that level support right around where that trend line will come into play. Earnings per share was on the decline, but looks like a turnaround story. RT relative timing put TSM in favorable territory here as early as, May 2nd. Took a little bit of a dip back in, but then shortly after came right back out by May 7th. And has been off to the races ever since, and you can see that in price action as well. Here's SMCI. Oh. We talked about this one, but look, value on the decline, price action stagnant, earnings per share on the decline. Can't get behind it. RT relative timing's there. So, hey, if you want to throw a 20-day EMA, 3 and 8, something simple, star search, you want to swing trade it on the bullish side of things, just stay disciplined. But as far as long-term investment, definitely see other opportunities there. AMD, value on the rise, price action on the rise, just like some of those other ones. But unlike TSM, not getting that turnaround story and earnings per share is just kind of flatlined here. Actually, look at that breakout to the upside. Finally, earnings per share coming back to life. So, that is an early sign. Let's see here. This is what I wanted to show you, though. Let's do this. We'll move this one up. We'll change the color of this, something bright. We'll do yellow. All right. You've got a head here, right? You've got 2 shoulders. You've got head and shoulders. Pattern, reversal pattern on a long descending channel. So that's good, and we're just breaking above that neckline, right? So we're still right in that neckline zone. Looks like we might get a little bit of rejection today, so just be careful, but it looks like we are going to get some confirmation from this head and shoulders pattern with AMD. So nice technicals here when it comes to this position. But here's the trend line coming in. So we still got some leeway room when it comes to that trend line. But definitely 115. If it breaks back below this 115, I would be concerned when it comes to AMD. Here's Soxel. This looks good. I mean, let's go to 3 months here. I mean, lower left, upper right, momentum is there. Buy rating. Something like this, because this is triple leveraged on, I would use the star search. Look at that. It's in the fast lane too right now. I do like what I see here when it comes to Soxel. And DPOs, both DPOs in positive territory. Yes, I like this one here. PAL, a lot of consolidation. I'm not going to speculate, but you can just see, look, top, bottom, whole lot of channel here. Let's go to 6 month. Yep. Channel from a, no. If it breaks above this, we can get a new high, break out of this channel, and remain in this fast lane. This might be something put on your radar, but I'm just not sold quite yet on it. Looking for that confirmation. All right. So this is it. We're going to go to your picks. We're going to do it. So now the next, let's see here. There are, how many likes are there, Joey? 62 likes. So you know how we do it on the YouTube channel. 62 likes. That gives you 6 stocks. So go ahead and put them in the comment section. Let's see here. SBSW. 62? Okay. MMMD. Oh. I gotta scroll back up. MNMD. Cake. CRWV. CoreWeave. RL. And then we got Fang. There we go. I think that should be 6. I took the top stocks from both chats. All right, scroll over to the left, see what stocks. All right, the big winner of these stocks today going to be Sterling Infrastructure. What is it? Oh, Glenn's dancing over the screen. Look at that, $1.99. Richard, what stock would you like us to analyze? I'll throw it in the list here. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. I do love seeing Glenn dance a little bit, little boogie woogie. So Richard, put in the comment section which stock you want to add to this list, and I'll add it as soon as I see it. But we've got some good stocks. Hey, look, Cheesecake Factory, CoreWeave, did a video on them last week. Taking a little bit of hit today, down 5%. We've got Fang in the mix as well. And that's the ETF tracking the Fang stocks. And we've got Mind Medicine. Bill says Richard wants SMR.
Richard replied.
PLTR. Okay. Yeah. Let's take a look at PLTR. I think it just had a breakout of that channel, right? With a little bit of wick. We're going to take a look at that breakout. Just to get a sense of these stocks. 3 out of the 7 have a buy rating. As far as value, you're going to get value with Sterling Infrastructure. You're going to get value with Sabane. You're going to get value with Cheesecake Factory. CoreWeave. This is a greatly overvalued. It's an AI company, AI software. So just be careful of that. This is more of a momentum play. You see it's down 5% today. Fundamentally, a lot of those value plays are going to be right where the fundamentals are as well, like Cake and Sterling. The momentum. So yeah, if you want strong fundamentals and momentum, Sterling's the one. Just looking at these indicators here. And as far as the CI rating, Palantir coming at 1.82 forecasted data. Palantir obviously rock and roll in that category. CoreWeave 420% sales growth rate. I can see why the stock's been rocketing lately. I did a video on that last week. So let's take a look at these stocks here. See where some opportunities might present themselves. Let's see here. Maximize. There we go. Rocking and rolling in the fast lane. I like what I see here. The little bit of a bearish divergence here with the DPO. But other than that, I mean, look, it's in the fast lane. Found a level of support here right in my zone. Nice retest on my zone. Now it's in the fast lane. Let it rock and roll. As far as confirmation, if you can jump in, you got the prior high here, 208. It's $4 away. You know, on a $200 stock, I mean, that's 2% roughly. I'd give up that 2% to wait for confirmation just in case. Here is SBSW. Again, in the fast lane, rocking and rolling here. Let's go to 6 months. Buy rating coming in as early as the price was around $4. Now the stock's reaching almost $7. If you're not in it, take out this prior high. We got rejection there last time. It was 2 trading sessions ago with that upper wick. But as long as it remains in that fast lane, hey, let it ride out. Here we've got Palantir. So, Richard, we're talking about Palantir here.
And he wants to know what's a good entry price.
Entry price? We're close to the entry price now because the channel is around 134.68. We're at 136.24. I'd say we're getting in there. The only reason why I'm somewhat hesitant of that is the upper wick. So if you're waiting, if you want a little bit more confirmation, hey, 139.75. You know, you can tiptoe in, tiptoe out. Don't be too concerned. But yeah, that would be my level. You know, if I wanted to take a little nibble now, just because it is breaking out a little bit, hey, but if I can get confirmation above today's high and take out that upper wick, showing me that, you know, the bulls are in control. Another, let's actually look at volume here. Volume pretty stagnant. It is starting to rise here compared to yesterday on this breakout. So I want to see this volume. I want to see strong volume on this breakout. I want to see some conviction here. I'm not quite getting that yet. That's why I say if you're comfortable with a little nibble, hey, otherwise I'm going to take out that high and hope and at least see this volume tick up a little bit more. Bill adds SMR. All right, Bill, remind me, we're going to do SMR. Let me get through these. We'll take a look at SMR. And uranium's hot right now. But yeah, Richard, the trade setup's looking pretty. I mean, it just got back in the fast lane. You got the consolidation here, just broke out. My only concern is just that there's this upper wick here, and I'm not seeing, you know, real strong volume yet on this breakout. So if you want the confirmation level, I'm thinking surpassing today's high, which you're looking around 139.75. Here we've got Cheesecake Factory. It's in the fast lane. I mean, this doesn't really seem like a momentum stock in general, but let's see here. Overall, lower left, upper right. I like what I see here. Let's actually change this one to the VectorVest Simple layout. Look at this, rising earnings, rising RT. This is a good stock. I like what I see here when it comes to these positions. You know, if I want to retest, and look about right here, you can see it's retesting it right now. Let's go back 3 months, yeah, retest. So if I want confirmation of this retest, let's take out yesterday's wick. So my entry price I'm looking at will be just above 59.45. Because we break out, retest, and if we break out of this high from yesterday, that's showing confirmation to the bulls. Because right now, with that little bit of a body, it's showing me indecision, right? And I see an upper wick and a lower wick, so I'm seeing indecision right now. So I don't want to jump in right this second. And if you are in this position, depending on what your stop is, but yeah, if you get rejection or break through this, just be careful of that. Otherwise, again, rising earnings, rising RT. Let's see what the value is here, 75. I like that. I mean, look at this. Undervalued, values on the rise, price action on the rise. I can't hate on cake. I like Cheesecake Factory. I like that stock. Here's CoreWeave. Just consolidation here. This is going to be a danger zone. If you want to break out, that's going to be my breakout level somewhere in here. This to the downside, 131 if you're trying to get bearish and short a overvalued stock. Hey, can't be mad at it. We got rejection though around here, 166. So if we break above this 166, hop in the saddle if you're ready again for some bullish action. But as of right now, I would call this kind of like a danger zone. Because if you're just going to buy or short or anything right now, you're right in these levels. So you could get whipsawed quite a bit here. All right, but we do got rising earnings. I do like that jump in the forecasted earnings per share. But yeah, as far as CoreWeave, if it breaks below much 131, I don't know where you bought it at, but if you got lucky down here and you're still holding a full position, maybe taking off a little bit, playing with some more house money, never a bad idea. Otherwise, if you've been late to the party and you're thinking about getting in, right now you're just, again, for confirmation, I'd wait for about the 166, 63 level there. All right, let's go do SMR. Rocking and rolling. Obviously, Bill, the valuation, it's like a Palantir. It's just stagnant. So investors are enthused. A lot going on. Obviously, AI. Buy rating coming into play. Pretty good timing on that buy rating, though. Look at that buy rating coming in. The stock was around $21 was the close, trading around 40. Earnings per share jumping up. Let's get the bigger picture here, 1 year. Oh, yeah, I like what I see here. Broke out, retested it, off to the races, right? That's kind of what I was talking about. I think it was cheesecake just a moment ago. But yeah, full-bodied candlestick, took out the prior. I like this. And then, do a freehand line here. Yeah, I like it. Now I just draw a trend line like this. As long as it stays above this trend line, hey, rock it out for the bulls. And then yes, Fang. Yeah, I forgot that was it. Energy. Yeah, Diamondback Energy. That's right. Duh. Should have known about that. All right, let's go 6 month here. I mean, value on the decline, price action on the decline, and it's overvalued? No. Earnings per share on the decline? No. So as far as like an investment buy and hold strategy, I can't get too excited about that. As far as bottom fishing, as far as a swing trade, I can get a little excited about that. Because look, you got a clear uptrend here, clear trend line. Oh. But more importantly, look at the RT relative timing now. And this crossover is pretty fresh. If we go to 3 months, just occurred yesterday. RT went in positive territory, 1.06. So if I'm looking for a momentum trade, this might be a candidate. And it just crossed into the fast lane. So again, actually, this is a good one to definitely have on your radar. Bill, what are you saying no about? Bill Burton and I have spreads around the stock. MTI 1.57, getting up there. That is my concern right now. MTI is at 1.57, right? And we really didn't see the enthusiasm in the market from that trade deal, as a lot of us, well, actually, no enthusiasm. All the major indices are down right now. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, as those updates occur, and it's not set in stone yet. Again, this was just a framework that was agreed upon. And I know I saw some commentary. The Trump administration thought it would just be a quick couple handshakes. Well, it was 2 days later, and they still didn't really actually reach a deal. So I guess they're going to take this framework to both leaders, and hopefully they can agree upon something to at least give markets a picture of what's going to happen, right? You know, because right now uncertainty is not good. The one thing I did want to take a look at, though, CPI data. This is CPI data over the last 10 years. Level of support I've had is around 2.4. We broke that last month, but we're actually now hitting it back almost as a level of resistance here. Today's CPI data won't appear in the software until this evening when it's updated, but you will see a tick up here to 2.4. But again, if I go to 6-month chart, look, it is lower. If I go to 1-year chart, it is trending lower, right? If I zoom this back out, you know, to get from 9% down to 4%, relatively pretty easy, right? But that last little stretch to reach the Fed's objective of 2% is going to be the hardest part, and we're seeing that play out now. All right, everybody. It was a good live stream today, a little bit different than normal. Let me know in the comment section if you like that idea of, you know, different industries or different areas where I give you a chance to give, you know, picks in those certain areas, you know, like what we did with defense and gold and semis today and AI. Just kind of, you know, just let me know if that's a good idea. It's something we could definitely try more in the future. It's just a way to get more of your picks in certain industries. Because I know, you know, with one opportunity of giving, you know, stock picks, you know, everyone jumps in at once, right? And it can get kind of chaotic. And a lot of times, depending on what's hot in the news, you know, whether it's quantum or energy, a lot of the stock picks kind of dive towards one direction. So I think this is a way to kind of, you know, diversify a little bit and give you more opportunities just throughout the live stream as a whole. So that being said, tomorrow, Trending Thursday, I will be covering for Glenn. And as far as Friday, I think he does have PTO the rest of the week. So just a heads up, I will be covering him. Tonight's presentation, quantum stocks. Yeah, they're back. So if you're holding quantum stocks, if you're thinking about getting into quantum, whatever it may be, some big news and the picks, the top 5 picks that showed momentum in the quantum watch list today. So keep an eye out for that. They'll be on the YouTube channel at 6 p.m. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow on Trending Thursday. Take care.